Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I need to use my car like any normal person would, and if you can believe it, with everything I went through with this WRX, my 2016 WRX not passing inspection, having issues and everything, basically everything, I gotta check engine light. So I was heading to work, and I'll tell you more about the story, but I was headed to work. I was sitting in the tunnel in Boston and driving in stop and go traffic, and literally I was like, finally got the car back. First time in traffic since it's been basically down, and check engine light went on. It was like almost perfect timing. So I'm gonna show you the code. I've done a little research. I'm not sure we're gonna fix the full thing in today's video, but we're gonna kind of tear the car apart and figure out if the problem that I think it is, or we're gonna figure out if the problem that I am guessing is there is actually there. So we're gonna take the bumper off, under tray, get into the engine. I think it's a wiring issue. I apologize for the mic. For some reason I can't find my my microphone, so I'm holding my Zoom and using Apple headphones. So maybe a different audio threshold. I'm unsure. My audio settings are pretty high. I've just changed them a little bit. But let's get into the car and let me show you what's going on. Feels good to get back in the car. I've got a new camera soon, so hopefully video quality is gonna get better. I think it's pretty all right now. The lighting is a little bit weird. But yeah, so I'm gonna film a bunch of videos. This is just the first one because I'm taking the bumper off, so I might as well get some work done. But let me show you the check engine light. I think it's still gonna be there. Yeah. So if you can believe it, I've been driving this car for maybe a week. And then check engine light. So yeah. Let's take a look at what the code is. Handy dandy access port. It works. Read codes. See what it says. So it's P0245 wastegate solenoid valve circuit low input. And I think this means that there's a wire that's broken or something. And I wonder if a rodent has gotten into the car because we've been parking on the street because we're doing demo work, which is no fun. But let's pull it into my semi driveway there with a full garage because I'm demoing the garage and redoing the garage and the entire basement. But we'll pull into the driveway, get some work done. All right, so before I get too far into the video, let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing. I do want to apologize. I haven't posted in a while. I just got my wisdom teeth actually out. I just got my wisdom teeth. No, I just recently got my wisdom teeth out. I'm falling over, and I'm just starting to feel better. Barely there, still in a fair amount of pain, and don't have a lot of energy. So I'm gonna do my best. This is gonna take a few days just to do these projects. But what I'm guessing here is, I think this code means that I've got a tear in a wire that goes to the wastegate. I'm really not sure what that means or anything, but that's just what some forums have said. So they weren't very clear on what harness or what power. They're not clear on anything. So I'm gonna look in the engine, see if I can find anything. If I can't, sounds like I'll be making a trip to Bren Tuning soon. So that could be fun. We're probably gonna play a clip montage of me taking the bumper off. All right, guys, you're gonna walk with me. You're on my tripod, and I wanted to do more than just sit. I'm eventually gonna sit down because there's a lot to talk about here, but I wanna show you, I wanted to follow up, right? Because it's been a couple days. So what ended up happening was, I had no idea what was wrong with my car. Absolutely no idea what was wrong with my car. I decided to, you guys saw me take the front bumper off and kind of investigate a little bit. I didn't want to film too much because I had no idea what I was looking for. I thought it was the boost control solenoid, but I got the under tray off, I peeked at it briefly, and it didn't look like it was the boost control solenoid. So it looked like it was fine, but I didn't take everything apart and get to it. Like, I didn't pull the whole thing out, right? Which was probably mistake number one, because I could have probably diagnosed this myself. So I started hitting up Matt Miner, who's a great guy. I'll talk about him in a second. And the plan was, we kind of talked over what was happening. We talked about the code. You know, he was asking the right questions. He was asking, you know, you should look at this, you should look at this. So I was doing all that. He was helping me diagnose it, and I still couldn't figure it out. I wasn't trying that hard. I knew that it was a boost issue, and I didn't want to mess around with that. So I wanted to make sure, you know, there are very few things that I won't touch in this car, but when it's something like regulating the boost in the car, I now know I'm not going to spike if my boost control solenoid fails. Probably. Actually, I'm not going to spike, but I don't want to screw around with that because I don't want to blow an engine. So what ended up happening was I scheduled a time to go to Matt Miner. I went down there. He had my car for a bit. He checked it out, and basically in like 2 hours was able to tell that the connections to my boost control solenoid were all screwed up. And what ended up happening was actually Bren Tuning, who installed it for me, never secured it anywhere. So this whole time, like a year, it's just been kind of flapping. So let me show you for a second. Let's walk over to my car before I set this tripod down because it's awfully heavy. Let me show you the boost control solenoid. This is the Cobb box for the Cobb boost control solenoid that's currently in my car because he didn't have any Grimmspeed, and Grimmspeed has been backed up forever. There's a mask. You guys don't need the mask in there. But let's take it out. We don't need the rest of it, I guess. This is my Grimmspeed electronic boost control solenoid, and this is what was failing. Ultimately, it was the wired connections that were failing. Basically, he fixed the connections, he retied these. What ended up happening was he took it out to his parking lot to have me come pick it up, and the check engine light went again. So as a safety measure, we took out the GS electronic boost control solenoid and installed the Cobb that was in that box. I'll show it to you guys maybe in another video. Cobb isn't necessarily better than Grimmspeed here. They have the same Mac internals. So the actual solenoid is a Mac solenoid, and they actually use the same thing. So something I wasn't actually aware of that Matt Miner explained to me. So basically, when every company uses these boost control solenoids, they're using the same solenoid, and then the rest of the stuff is basically just dress up around the solenoid. So essentially the same thing. Good to know. I've got a new one in. Car's running better than ever, but let's talk about it for a second. I've got a mess of wires here with my my Zoom setup. I need to have some type of Bluetooth connection to the Zoom, to me, to the camera, so it's just easier for editing, all those things. The biggest takeaway here was, well, one, I had a great experience with Matt Miner, his whole shop, everything. The transparency, and I'll talk about that in a second, was awesome. It's not sponsored or anything, but I had a good enough experience that I know that I was just talking to some of you guys on the live stream. If you're in the area, I highly recommend him. The tune from Bren Tuning was great. The customer service has been trash so far. There's no real way to beat around it. It's just, you know, there's not a lot of transparency. It's, you know, like another shop, like essentially, you know, they're just like any other shop. But that's not necessarily the experience that I want when I'm trying to work with somebody to build my car and when I want to give my business. Because honestly, you know, when someone else is working on your car, you're paying them between $100 and $150 an hour if they're, you know, good at what they do. So you want to make sure that you're paying somebody that actually is treating you like you're hiring them, because that's essentially what you're doing. And again, I could not be more happy with Matt Miner. If I have any issues with this car or need any like high-end, high-level work that I'm not willing to do myself done, he's the person I'm going to. I'm actually already in talks with him about what we're doing next to this car. I'm gonna make a whole video on that because it's actually super exciting, and I'm potentially, I've been thinking about for a long time now buying an older STI and doing a full build, and potentially maybe I'm gonna involve him and we're gonna try to do like a series together. I don't know, I've gotta run it by him, we'll see. But if you're in the area, Matt Miner. So what ended up happening was he took my car in an hour or two. He was able to disassemble it, you know, figure out that the connection was bad. He fixed the connection. You know, obviously the issue came back. He put the new boost controller in. But, you know, one thing that I wanted to talk about in this video that's really important is, one, it's great that I have my car back, and it sucks that I had another problem. But ultimately, it's so important to have somebody that you trust to work on your car, because I think a lot of people out there aren't willing to work on their cars as much as I am, and as much as a lot of us are. There's just the majority aren't willing to do it. And finding somebody that you trust is really important, because I know that, you know, this being the second issue that he's actually helped me with, you know, it's been scary because this car is like my baby, and, you know, and some of the things are over my head, or I don't have time to do them, or it's just, you know, it's not something I can invest in learning, right? Like before, I didn't want to learn how to tune a car just to fix a little issue. I'd rather just have him do it, pay him something to do it, right? And, you know, when he was going through and doing it, he was sending me pictures as he went. you know, he let me know that it looks like on my under tray a bolt was replaced. I knew that the other owner scraped a little bit before the car and probably replaced the bolt, but he was just like super open about these things. And I've got to say, as a car owner, especially with somebody that's tuned a car, because I know that hopefully everybody that goes out and tunes their car feels the risk they're taking, because in reality they're taking a huge risk, right? It makes me feel better that at least there's somebody out there that knows how to mitigate those risks and really work with you as an owner to have the best experience possible. And that's so important to me, and I think it should be important to you guys. And you know, maybe it's not Matt Miner for you guys, but maybe it's somebody else. And again, you know, I'm saying his name a lot. We're not sponsored by him, but I also had such a good experience that I want to help him out. So, you know, I do think, you know, it's one of those things where, like, hopefully eventually I'll be doing some brand deals. I mean, I did some product reviews, like I used the Staycan head unit. I'm not afraid to tell you guys I like the Staycan head unit, but they suck as a company. So you take the risk of it. If you've got a problem, you're screwed. So I'm an honest guy. I'm gonna give honest reviews. If somebody sends me a product or just does something that's right, I wanna give back to them. And that's part of the community that I'm trying to build with this YouTube channel. So it's good to have the car back. I'm excited to get some videos done. It was a huge, like, having that problem in the midst of doing 50 things. You know, I had the problem, and then I had to figure out what the problem was, figure out that I needed to take it to somebody, and then finish everything else I was doing, because the front bumper was off. I was working on some modifications. Those will come out soon. I don't think you guys know about them yet. You might have just seen them when I was vlog style filming there. So I also want to, you know, hear from you guys, because I think that I'm at a place with this channel where I need to figure out what you guys want to see. So if you've watched this far, drop in the comment section below what you want to see with me with the car, if you want to see more about what I'm doing on a daily basis. I'm going to make a few videos about what it's like being a mechanical engineer. A lot of you guys have asked, like, you know, I'm actually nearly 25. How at 24 have you had 2 Subarus that you're both paid off, bought a house? And I'm like, I'm not trying to flex, but it's just like, you know, I made a lot of sacrifices. You know, sacrificed the college experience, invested my money and time into getting a degree, and then grinding, working through all that, getting as much as I can. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are curious because they want a similar lifestyle. It's not the best lifestyle. You've got little free time, and I try to do my little free time. I try to do stuff like this, which does pay me a little bit of money, but it's really nothing. But it's just something I enjoy. It's a lot of work, but it's something I enjoy. So I'm gonna make a few videos kind of on that, you know, what I'm doing in my house, because a lot of you guys have asked about the projects that are in my house. But I'd love to get some more input from you guys, because ultimately it's a community. I hate putting out videos like, you know, one of my recent videos flopped pretty hard, and it's a video that a few people were asking about, so I put it out there. It didn't do really well, and, you know, I'm glad it went out and the people that wanted it got to see it, but it's hard to spend a lot of time and, you know, invest all that time in a video and it not do well. So I want to make sure that I'm catering for everybody. And it hurts the channel. If I have a video that doesn't do well, likely YouTube's not going to prioritize me in the future. So I'm just trying to figure out what's right for the community, and I'd love to hear your suggestions and kind of get your input. If you guys aren't tuning into the Saturday night live streams, I'm not doing it every Saturday. I'm not doing it every Saturday, but I've done it almost every Saturday. So check in for those. I usually post on the Instagram, or I'll post on the community page of the channel if I'm doing it at what time. So guys, I think I'm gonna let you go. It's getting pretty dark here. I want to finish this photo shoot because I'm trying to take new thumbnail photos. But the sun has disappeared, or I guess the sun's disappeared. We're in night mode on the camera, so I apologize if I'm really dark. I'm gonna try to edit it and bring up the light and lower the shadows, but we'll see. I gotta get a new computer, and I've got to get some type of vlogging camera, because if I'm going to do more videos that are more about me, I need to be able to not hunk around that DSLR. We'll see where the channel goes. It's going to be exciting. I'm going to start doing more stuff about the daily life. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Have a good day.